There is one area of your shooting that I'm not very convinced it's beneficial to work on at the range, and that's gun handling. Simply put, ammo is expensive, your time is precious on the range. Most people only get to the range once a week, once every couple weeks. Gun handling is something you can easily work on at home, safely, and you can replicate everything that you're going to see on the range while you're at home. The important thing, talking specifically about magazine changes, is I think it's important to have magazines with weighted dummy ammo. So this is ammo that I've reloaded. It has a case and a bullet, but no primer and no powder. So it's completely safe. I keep it separate from these magazines. Just say loaded with this dummy ammo. It stays in my dry fire area, and these will never have live ammo in it. And if I have a question like what I've got in front of me, I can just look at the back of them and see if it has a primer or not. So ammunition that I never get confused with anything else. This is just dummy ammo. But by filling my magazines the same capacity I would use in matches, it makes the magazines have the same weight, which is very important. Just doing speed reloads off your belt with unloaded magazines that don't have any ammunition in them, or even just the plastic dummy rounds, is not nearly the same as a magazine that feels exactly the same like it will in competition or in matches with the exact same weight, everything like that. So there's a couple things I think that are important to talk about when doing magazine changes. First off, there's a lot of people with different emotions and theories based on the setup of the gun, mag well or not. If you have the gun up high, gun down low, it's really personal preference. I keep the gun a little bit lower. Obviously the important part is finger outside the trigger guard. I keep the gun a little bit lower, but I think the important part is to make sure your magazine well is pointing towards your mag pouches. Because when I pull the magazine out, if I'm holding the gun like this, and I pull the magazine out, now I'm going to have to bring it forward, change the angle, find the right angle of the gun before I can insert it. As opposed to, while I'm reloading, if the mag well is pointing down towards the pouch, then when the magazine comes out of the pouch, they're just going to come at each other at the same angle. It's going to make it a lot easier. Other than that, important things are I end up almost slapping the magazine in my pouch. So when my firing hand or my support hand comes down, where I hit the magazine, almost like I said, a slap in the pouch, I have the base pad hits kind of the meaty part of my palm, my fingers up towards the spine of the magazine. It's bent. This is just the way I grab magazines. I would like to suggest to you the way you decide to draw your magazines off your belt is just as important as drawing the gun from your holster. Because if you grab your magazine like this off your pouch, it's going to be a lot tougher to do that sporty sub-second reload, and you're just not going to be as consistent. So the way you choose to draw the magazine out of your pouch and the way you hold it is important, and it needs to be repeatable every time. A couple drills I really like. The common one, crowd pleasers, 4 aces. I like that one a lot. The procedure for that is, on the start signal, you draw the gun, simulate firing 2 shots, in dry fire, load the gun, and 2 more shots. A very sporty time for this would be around 1.8. Anything under 2 seconds is very good. With some training, maybe start out at 3 seconds. Using a par time I think is good. So you have you kind of can hear what that sounds like. And that's something that just continuously working at. If you worked at it 3 minutes a day, 2 days a week for a couple weeks, before you know it, you'd be getting pretty good at it. Or maybe if it really annoys you and you want to be good at it, maybe you work at it 3 or 4 days a week for 5 minutes a chop, something like that. Before you know it, it'll become a lot quicker for you. It becomes a lot easier. Everybody loves having a fast draw also. Same thing. Don't need ammo for that. I do like putting in the magazine with the dummy ammunition in the gun when I'm drawing it, especially since this one's a Walther, so it's a polymer framed gun. It's very light, Glock, stuff like that. The polymer framed guns, they just feel more realistic because they're not very heavy without a full magazine in them. Even if you're shooting a Shadow 2, Tanfo, metal gun, whatever, I'd still recommend just inserting a magazine. That way, this gun feels exactly the same now as it's going to in a match. So again, working to make my dry fire feel exactly the same as live fire. Another, any kind of a variation of a 6 reload 6 is a really good one for gun handling also. Whether it's L-Pres, Vice Pres, which is just 3 targets in front of you simulated a meter apart, simulated 7 yards in distance, draw on the gun, shoot them each twice, do a reload, and shoot them each twice. It's a really difficult one to do it fast, while you're accurate, still getting hitting the center of the targets, and doing the, fast gun handling. A quick draw, a quick reload, without tensing up or having something fall down during the middle of the sequence. If you're doing just a vanilla target transitions, it could be 5, 6, 7 shots, something like that, shooting each target across twice, do a mag change again across the order. So just changing it up, but really forcing yourself to have an emphasis on that gun handling is good. And again, something you probably don't need to spend live ammunition to get good at. Anyway, hopefully this one's helpful.